My goodness, I got to admit, this is my fourth or fifth take on this particular video. I usually cut videos in about one or two takes, but I want to go into so many details about this next record, the history of this group, but it's very complex, so I'm going to have to just break it down to its basic, the building blocks, basically. The song I want to talk about, Billboard's Hot 100, March 4th, 1978, Hot, You Brought the Woman Out of Me. Hot, the group Hot. It was at number 71 the week of March 4th, 1978 on Billboard's Hot 100. Um, Hot was three women. There were three women in this group. There was the soulful Gwen Owens. She started recording in the late 60s and the early 70s. She was a backup singer. She was a session singer. She sang backup in the studios with people like Billy Preston, Stanley Clarke, Al Wilson. She provided live support for people like, well, for groups or acts like the OJs, Lou Rawls, Ann Margaret, Raquel Welch. She was a very busy woman, Gwen Owens was, in the early 70s. And then there was Kathy Carson and a woman named Juanita Curiel, like Muriel, Curiel, Curiel. She sang with Wayne Newton at his Las Vegas shows for about 3, 4, or 5 years. She was a backup singer and a dancer. Lots of experience going into this group, Hot. And now here's the thing about Gwen Owens. Gwen Owens hooked up with a couple of session men. They were based in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Their names, Clayton Ivey and Terry Woodford. They recorded a bunch of tracks with her, about 4 or 5 or 6 tracks. They did this because Motown, they were going to open up a Southern division of their record label. And Gwen Owens was going to be sort of the inaugural artist, or at least among the inaugural artists of this Southern label of Motown. But it didn't happen. Motown pulled out. They dropped the idea of developing a Southern label. So now you got Gwen Owens and her producers, Clayton Ivey and Terry Woodford. They got 5, 6, or 7 tracks. What the hell do you do with them? You don't have a record label to put them out on. They shopped at the other labels. Casablanca picked up one of Gwen Owens' records, one of her tracks. It was called You Better Watch Out back in 1973. The famed Casablanca record label. They signed Kiss in 1973. Casablanca did, and later on they become a big disco label. Their flagship artists, Donna Summer, Village People, Parliament was on the Casablanca label. You Better Watch Out was not a hit, though, for Gwen Owens in 1973. But here's the thing. Her two producers, Clayton Ivey and Terry Woodford, they formed their own studio. It was called the Wishbone Studio in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. And that's where Hot came together. The rest of the members of Hot came together with Gwen Owens. Gwen Owens wanted to do a country song. She came up to one of the producers. I don't remember which one it was. It might have been Woodford. It might have been Terry Woodford, or it might have been Clayton Ivey. She asked him, "Can I do a country and western song?" They said, "Yeah, sure, fine. Go for it." They wrote Clayton Ivey, Terry Woodford, along with a local songwriter. His name was Tommy Brashfield. They wrote Angel in Your Arms. And it was massive. It was released off the Big Tree record label, and boy, it was just around the spring, summer 77, it was top 10. According to Wikipedia, it came in at number 5 as ranked by Billboard, number 5 song of the year in 1977, but don't quote me on that. That seems a little bit too high for that record, but the bottom line was it was a massive one-hit wonder for Hot. Their follow-ups did not do as well. One other thing I want to mention about Angel in Your Arms, Mac McAnally. I believe I pronounced his last name correctly. He played guitar on Angel in Your Arms. And one of the follow-ups, You Brought the Woman Out of Me. which was less country sounding, more pop sounding, more soulful sounding than Angel in Your Arms. You Brought the Woman Out of Me went from number 75 to 71 the week of March 4th, 1978. It was on the charts, Billboard's Hot 100, for about, gosh, 3 or 4 or 5 weeks. That's it. You're not going to stay on Billboard's Hot 100 very long if you get as high as number 70. Nice record, though. Boy, I tell you what, love playing these Lost 45s. All right, here it is. This is hot. You Brought the Woman Out of Me. Brought to you by Mr. DJ.